Hi, United in Recovery family. I want to share with you a little bit about how we can remain strong in our recovery throughout the Christmas season. Christmas and all the things that happen in our communities, in our churches, and especially in our families brings with it more expectations than any other time of year. And along with those expectations comes the possibility of unmet expectations and unrealistic expectations. And especially this year, many of our usual expectations that we can count on are now unrealistic expectations. And many times it's when we have expectations that go unmet that we get into all kinds of problems, like resentment, like depression, like anger and outbursts and all of that. And then sometimes what happens is where we didn't get filled up from the meeting of our expectations, we try to fill ourselves with alcohol or substances or other compulsive behaviors in order to make ourselves feel okay. And I want you to be ready for this year so it doesn't catch you off guard and so that we don't slip and relapse or go into unhealthy ways of relating and of living. So to be ready, I invite you to listen with me to part of the Christmas story about Mary and what she did when her expectations weren't met. You know, Gabriel appeared to her. He told her this good news. You're going to be the mother of the Son of God, the Messiah. And then do you know what the first thing Mary says? First thing Mary says there is this, and this is from Luke 1, verse 34. Mary says, "How can this be? My expectations aren't met. How can this be?" And she has to work through that, right? And only after she works through that can she then go on to say in Luke 38, "Here I am, the servant of the Lord. Let it be with me according to your word," where she can say, "Let it be," and give the Beatles that great song that they eventually wrote, right? She could say that because she's worked through, she's learned how to manage her expectations and to address that. There will be times this Christmas season where you'll have expectations unmet. Maybe you were planning to be with family and you're not able to be. Maybe you're able to be with family and you were planning on having a very pleasant time and somebody says something that you don't like, and you know how families go. Well, in those times, I invite you to do what Mary did and take that to God and say, "I understand not all my expectations are going to be met. How can this be, God? How are you going to bless me through this?" So let's intentionally not fill our Christmases or try to fill our unmet expectations this Christmas with alcohol, with drugs, with codependency, with compulsive behaviors, with unhealthy coping mechanisms. Let's not do that. But let's make a commitment right now that we expect to have unmet expectations. And when we do, let's fill that void in our lives with recovery, with seeking conscious contact with God, with being in touch with our good friends and our sponsors that we can count on, with worshiping and practicing our faith. That's how we're going to handle it this year, with getting out and serving others and inviting someone else to come to a meeting with us. And in that way, we'll be so full of what God's doing in our lives that we won't have a vacuum that we try to fill with filth and addiction and all the other things that we look to give us comfort that never seem to do it. I hope you have a wonderful, a joyous, a blessed, and sober Christmas. God bless you. Merry Christmas.